Welcome, Marks, to another edition of the HallMarks podcast. This podcast is brought to you in part by the Oh Guys Productions, powered by RealNerdCorp.com, live on twitch.tv/RealNerdCorp. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alex Swisher. I am your lead mark. I am your biggest hallmark. I'm your host for this evening. Joining me, as always, another hallmark. Also in contention to be lead mark or biggest mark for Hallmark movies, my trusty co-host Chad Porto.
Do you have your hall pass? All right, I'm sorry.
The noise you made me think of like Bert and Ernie of like the fucking. Which one does the fucking laugh? Is it Ernie who does the puns?
This is the tall banana one is the straight guy.
Bert is Bert. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bert is the straight guy.
Yeah,
the short one. Yeah.
Is the other guy.
That's one of my favorite jokes as well. Is what's Ernie's from Sesame Street's favorite ice cream?
No idea.
Sure, Bert.
I hate you so much.
Oh, well, welcome to night 2 of a 3-night event. Our Hallmarks Christmas Bonanza. We are watching 3 Hallmark Christmas movies, and we are reviewing them, rating them in 5 different categories, and ranking them. Well, we're not ranking them, but I mean, they're all going to get ranked eventually, just based off of how well they do. If you missed it, last night we did Family for Christmas starring Lacey Chabert. Came out in 2015. Tonight, we are doing a more recent Hallmark holiday movie, Christmas movie. It's called Holiday Date, starring Matt Cohen and Brittany Bristow. Okay, cool. Came out last year, 2019. This one is a hoot and a honk.
So
I don't know why I said that, but
I gotta ask. He's
Yeah.
a Cohen?
oh, he is a Cohen.
You're all galadas.
I love the fact that they actually fucking hired a Jewish actor to play this Jewish guy on this movie.
Right? So
Yeah.
that's gonna come up later.
I gotta ask him about his opinion on schmears.
So all right. So I'm under the idea that schmear is nothing more than cream cheese. Am I wrong?
Yeah, the schmear is just the process of applying the cream cheese.
Okay, good. Because I had a schmear then today. I made homemade cinnamon bread.
Ooh.
It's technically a recipe for cinnamon rolls, like the kind you get in the can. But I decided to try to make it into a bread. It got a little burnt, but still good. And I smeared some cream cheese on the sides of it because I don't have any
sounds
frosting,
delicious.
So. Oh, it was. Mwah. So
Yeah. So yeah, this is a 3-night bonanza extravaganza. If that's what we're calling it. We're calling it the Hallmarks Podcast Christmas Bonanza 3-night Christmas Bonanza extravaganza.
The Hallmarks.
There you go.
3 nights Christmas extravaganza bonanza.
Yes.
I'm writing that down. Hallmarks. Whoop, spelled that wrong. 3 nights Christmas
extravaganza
bonanza. How do you spell bonanza? B-A-N-A.
B-O-N
B-O-N.
A-N
A-N.
Z-A.
Z-A. I'm going to have to go back and retroactively rename these podcasts.
Sorry. Should have come up with this name on the first night, but I used the word bonanza tonight and I'm rolling with it.
It's all right. I'm fine with it. It's kitsch. You know me and kitsch. Kitsch and puns. I'm all for. It's what I live for.
So yes, last night we did Family for Christmas. Tonight is Holiday Date, and tomorrow night, Wednesday night, the night Christmas Eve, we will be watching 9 Lives for Christmas, starring Brandon Routh. So, yeah, settle in. The next 20 to 30 minutes, we should be you should enjoy as we talk about this movie that I'm trying to remember all the events of.
Just watched it. I can handle it. So it starts with
Yes.
her getting dumped.
Yes. So Brittany Bristow plays Brooke Miller, who is from Winter Pines, Pennsylvania, or something like that.
Christmas McChristian No Jews Allowed Town.
Yes. She plays Brooke Miller, and she is dating this guy who apparently is Mr. Christmas, but he's an architect. So her architect boyfriend loves Christmas.
So there's already a
they're at-
debate though.
Yes.
Not with us. They literally said something to the effect like, "That's Mr. Christmas. He doesn't seem so," and she even goes, "Oh well, it was a Christmas party." So I don't even think her boyfriend is that into Christmas.
Yeah, I think it was just.
I think
I don't know. I think she was just
this
upselling.
movie was a lie on a lie on a lie on a lie, and I think
Oh,
that was
100%.
the first lie that he was ever
100%.
into Christmas.
So, Brooke and her boyfriend are out to dinner, and she's like telling him about all the things they're gonna do with their parents, and he's like, "Yeah, so about that," and she's like, "Oh, you can't go," and he's like, "No, it's not that I can't go. Well, no, he can't go because he has to do a work thing. He has to work through the holidays. But he says, it was probably for the best anyways because I think we're moving a little too fast." She's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, I just don't feel like this is really working."
You were right the first time. It's not so much he can't go; it's that we're moving too fast.
Yes.
So you were right.
It just so happens that he also has to work through the holidays on architect stuff, because apparently this building can't wait 2 days for an architect to go. Yeah, that's okay.
Well, we both watched How I Met Your Mother. We know how busy Ted Mosby was with his architecture stuff. When he wasn't being a whore.
He was never busy.
No, exactly.
What are you talking about?
There was
he
like
had
2
so
episodes.
much fucking free time.
There was like 2 episodes where he was doing any work. One, he fired the dude from Breaking Bad. The other one, he was trying to make his roommate stop having sex. Like, that's it. That show is unwatchable because of how it ended. I'm just saying.
You and I have talked about this a lot.
I'll never not talk about it because that show was awesome until they ruined it.
So
it's hard.
She gets dumped and she ends up going to a friend's Christmas party, and her friends are like, "Well, what about this? What if you ask him, this guy, this actor, his name is Joel Parker, very non-Jewish name, but that's fine. Could have gone with like a better name, but okay." So they're like, "Ask Joel. He's an actor. He can pretend to be Mr. Christmas, your architect boyfriend." And so she goes, and the idea to him for her on behalf of her by her friends. And the actor Joel's agent is like, "This will be a great learning opportunity because you're up for a part for a small town boyfriend or something like that, right?"
Yup.
Yeah, boy, oh boy, it just so happens to work out perfectly.
Turns out, if you've never been from a small town, there's absolutely no research required if this movie is supposed to be accurate.
Yeah, no. Here's how you act like a person who's from a small town.
You're shocked when someone's Jewish?
Congrats, act normal.
Because this family was definitely shocked.
Yeah, apparently you never met a Jewish person in your entire life. So Joel and Brooke drive out to Pennsylvania. They live in New York, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
They drive out to Pennsylvania a couple hours. So they go to Brooke's family's house, where they meet Brooke's mom and dad and sister and brother-in-law and niece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dad was he worked in construction until he retired. No clue what mom did because I don't think they ever did anything with that. But mom was like super mom. She bakes, she sings, she does everything that you would expect a small town mom to do, apparently. Sister and brother-in-law are accountants, I believe.
Well, I don't know if we ever got what he did. No, he did.
Because
he kind of mentioned like, "Oh, I've been in escrow or whatever it was before," or holdings.
Yeah. So I think they're both accountants,
Mm-hmm.
and then niece is like 8 years old. That's her identity.
She's a blossoming actress.
Yes. Yes. So everything just starts to fall apart from there. So they're asking Joel a whole bunch of architect questions, and he has no idea how to answer. Joel keeps fumbling around all the Christmas traditions. He's doing everything wrong. There's like a whole bunch of shit. Like I'm trying to think of all the things that go wrong before we find out the big shocking twist.
So okay, let's just kind of condense this because we can move this along a little bit faster. The first 15 minutes is them going, I don't know if I should take you, and then she takes him because obviously she takes him. We have to have a plot of the goddamn movie.
Right.
The next 15 to 45 minutes, so that 30-minute span of a 120-minute movie, is literally Joel. What's his name? Joel. It's literally Joel, a.k.a. Ethan.
Ethan, that's right.
Yeah, he's playing the boyfriend Ethan Reinhardt, so he's a vampire slayer as well. Going around and doing all the things that a Christmassy person would do and doing them correctly, but pretending like he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah. He
goes and buys a tree. That was the funniest fucking scene in the movie. Walks up like it's an alleyway. I've never bought a tree from an alleyway before, but all right, whatever. This is Christmas time at Christensen, so all right, whatever.
Very strange, but
you don't get mugged in Christmas time at Christensen. You get fucking treed apparently. July 3rd's a weird day in that town, I guess. So he's like, "Do you sell Christmas trees?" And there's like 8 or 9 or 12 Christmas trees in view, and the black dude who's like selling the Christmas trees like looks around. And then looks back at him and then stops for a second and then goes, yeah.
Yeah, he looks at it, he's like, yeah. Which is
it's
fantastic.
The biggest fucking load up ever. And Joe's like, I want the biggest one. And this dude's like, that's going to cost you extra. And Joel's like, yeah. So he brings it home. Again, Joel is Jewish, so he doesn't, quote unquote, know how Christmas is. But the father-in-law, or the father, and the son-in-law try to bring the tree in, but Swish, did you notice what these two dipshits were doing?
No, I wasn't paying attention to them bringing the tree in.
They were bringing the tree in top first. Why is that a bad idea? Because branches get caught on the door? Yep. You either bring in... if your tree's short enough, you just bring it in regularly, or you bring it in bottom first so that the brushes, the bristles, and the branches can bend with the tree and come on in. These people have never celebrated Christmas before, apparently, because the Hebrew hunk is the only one who knows what he's doing. I'm just saying. And then he's like, "Let's make gingerbread houses," and the mom's like, "Great, you're an architect, you can do all the work," and he's like, "I don't want to do that." And she just stares at him like, "I wasn't asking." And he's like, I guess I'm an architect, because he's lying about being an architect. So I guess I'll do it. And she's like, well, I haven't made these in forever. I think the actual word is ever, because even with her help, the gingerbread house was a giant disaster.
It was horrible.
The worst. Then he goes and buys like a bunch of like inflatable lawn ornaments, and I'm just like, nah, this cat knows what he's doing. Then he decorates the tree, and everyone's like, we do it as a family. Ethan.
Oh my God.
And he's like, I was just trying to help. And they all just stared at him like he kicked the cat, man. Like, what are you doing? And then
that fucking scene made me so mad.
Oh my God. Like the first 40 minutes is like fucking Cringe the musical. Then they're like, we're gonna sing Christmas songs, and Joel's like, I'm gonna tell him, and she's like, don't you tell him. And he's like, I'm gonna tell him, and she's like, don't you tell him. And then he's like, I'm Jewish, and then they all just stare at him like,
yeah,
is that allowed?
So they try to kick to Joel. They're singing
like Jingle Bells or something. It's like whatever it is. It's like,
they're singing Jingle Bells.
Yeah,
they were singing Jingle Bells, and they kicked to Joel for the next verse. And Joel's like, and they're like, you don't know this one? He's like, well, my parents weren't really Christmassy growing up. And he's like, how? They're like, how can you be Mr. Christmas if you weren't Christmassy growing up? And
it wasn't Jingle Bells. It was the fuck. It just had it. It's the fa la 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 la. Whatever that one is.
Oh, Deck the Halls.
Yeah, that's it. Deck the halls.
And he's like, and that's when he busts out the news. Well, I'm Jewish, and the reason I wanted to be called Mr. Christmas was because I didn't, this is my first Christmas, and I really wanted to try and capture the spirit of it. And somehow this whole family is like, well, that's even better.
We can convert you.
Yeah, 100%. They were like, well, that means that we have the opportunity to make a new Christmas, man.
So
It was very weird.
To be fair, they spend the rest of the movie incorporating both Hanukkah and Christmas into one celebration. So cool.
Yes.
But I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say for about a good 10 to 20 seconds, they stared at him like he had slain Jesus himself.
Oh yeah, 100%. They were like,
especially the mom, her
what?
face mortification. She was like, "Is our house even legal now?" Like she was just gobsmacked.
They literally looked at him like, "Is that legal?"
I don't think we can bring a Hebrew into Christmas time at Christensen. Sweetheart, get the broom. But then it becomes very much, oh, well, you're Hebrew. That's cool. Let's celebrate Hanukkah together. And the niece is like,
oh,
can I light the candles? I'm a pyromaniac. And everyone's like, sure, sweetheart. And I'm like, why are you letting the 8-year-old light shit? Like, that's how bad shit happens, man.
Pretty much, yeah.
So it becomes very like, oh, okay, cool. Like, no big deal. And then, the rest of the movie, she's like, oh, I want to be a fashionista. Now I want to be a costume designer. And Joel's like, I want to be a big-time actor. But then he's like, I want to be a guy who does local community theater while I wait on projects I like, because he's an actor. And everyone's like, yeah, no, that all makes sense. But the only hitch, the only hang-up, literally, this movie's like frosting, man. It's just frosting. There's at least with the family holiday or whatever it was fucking called.
Family for Christmas.
At least that was just Lacey Chabert falling on her face repeatedly in one epic long pratfall. This is just
true.
Oh, family's great. And now listen, it's a good movie. I liked it, but there's 2 moments of tension when the chick gets dumped, and then when they find out that Joel isn't actually Joel because Joel was in a commercial once. With a shaving cream. That's it. That's the moment's of tension.
Throughout the entire movie, they're like, haven't I seen you somewhere before? The dad and the brother are like, this guy looks super familiar.
And
it's
the guy
because he was in
running,
a shaving.
Yeah, and the guy running the play.
Oh, Uncle Hank.
No, not just Uncle Hank. The guy running the play. The guy who's got laryngitis in the middle of the movie.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think Uncle Hank did it too, and I'm pretty sure the sister said it at one point. Everyone's like, "You look familiar." And he's like, "If I only had a nickel." Oh, and the random friend that found him, she did it too.
Oh yeah, the random friend that found them at the beginning of the movie,
who was in 2
reason.
scenes, and were the most pivotal scenes in the movie.
Well, she could have been left out of the entire movie.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. The 2 scenes she was in is Joel having moments of cracking, where his facade is being broken. And then later on, when he sees the real Ethan and Brooke hugging, or no, she was in she was the reason why Ethan came to town, the friend, because she tagged him. So 2 pivotal moments, this chick was in both of them. Go figure.
Yeah. Huh.
It's a movie.
Very weird.
It's a movie.
It is a movie. So yeah, basically, did we talk about the engagement shit,
which went nowhere for no reason? So
yeah,
she goes to a bridal thing because she needs a slip, whatever that is.
She needs fabric.
Yeah. She needs a slip fabric for her dresses that she's making. She's like, oh yeah, I got you. And at the same time, Ethan coincidentally goes to, Joel
goes to
a jeweler.
Ethan. Yep.
And he goes to the jeweler to get a Christmas present for Brooke, which ends up being a Christmas tree and a menorah. Or no, was it a menorah or Star of David? I think it's a menorah.
It may have been I don't know. I don't remember. Wasn't it a necklace of one of those things? Or
well, no, it was a necklace with a Christmas tree and either a Star of David or a menorah. I think it was a menorah. Because I think they were going for the iconography, symbols of the holiday. Jesus Christ, I learned to speak. I'm sorry. My mouth doesn't always want to work. So,
But yeah,
like, the sister and the brother-in-law see them doing various things, all stalking them, apparently, and then runs to tell their parents, like, they're getting engaged. And then they surprise them, like, oh, my God, you're getting engaged. And Joel and Brooke are like, we are?
we are. We are. Yeah, that's why we were shopping at these places. We are.
And I'm sitting there going, so the sister's like, so the whole reason this movie's taking place is because Brooke is envious of her sister for being perfect. And I'm sitting there going,
yes.
your sister literally just knocked out the biggest announcement you can have sans grandchildren to a family on a holiday. And y'all ain't mad about it.
Yeah, it was real fucked up.
I would have been like, bitch, did you get engaged today? No, then why are you telling people shit? But that's also why I'm single and no longer allowed at my ex's parents' house, because apparently I have a mouth. Apparently I don't know when to shut it. Apparently I know how to ruin. Sorry, a lot of past memories coming up. What's going on?
I mean, that second one is true.
Fair. I mean,
sorry, you're my friend. I'm not supposed to agree with people who are against you.
I'm not disagreeing with them either.
True.
When you piss me off, I'm gonna tell you you're dumb.
Yes, you will. I know.
Yes, I will. So, yeah, the sister's like, ugh, whatever, and then they like, yeah, we're gonna celebrate Hanukkah, and to their credit, they're like, yeah, they totally celebrated Hanukkah. I didn't even know that there were more than one Hanukkah songs. Apparently, "Come Light the Menorah" is a Hanukkah song, at least according to Hallmark. But hey, I'm pretty sure this is the first ever Hanukkah movie that Hallmark's ever made in their umpteen decades of existence.
True.
So, like, I'm going to give them credit for trying, even if they did make them a new song.
Yeah, Come Light the Menorah. What else did they? They did Come Light the Menorah, and I think they did Dreidel, maybe?
They did the Dreidel, and then they also did, I don't know what it's called, but it's the traditional lighting of the menorah song where it's sung in Hebrew.
Yes.
Where there's a lot of and it's a very phlegmy language.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So yeah, they celebrate Hanukkah. Then sometime around then, Ethan shows up because he got tagged in a picture.
And then she's like, else? Listen, they're both Ethan, and this is Ethan from design school. And other Ethan's like, yeah, I didn't realize that this new Ethan was a lot more attractive than I am. I'm going to go now. And Hebrew Ethan's like, later, my dude.
Yeah.
But then they have like a little coffee, and she's like, all right, you were right. We totally don't work, and bye. And he's like, bye. And Hebrew Ethan's like, I was really jealous about that. And she's like, well, I'm picking you. And he's like, cool. I wish it was real, though. And she's like, so do I. And then they make out in the snow. They don't actually make out, but I'm trying to jazz this movie up a little bit.
They do end up together at the end of this, of course. It's a Hallmark movie.
Shocking. What?
I know. I can't believe that I've just said something so incredulous.
So, do you realize that this movie, I'm assuming this is the first Hebrew movie they've done in some time, and it wasn't even a full-on Hebrew movie. It was a fusion, but whatever. Representation, popped up in. That's cool. I'm for it. I dated a Jewish chick once. This is a lot of fun. Broke my heart like all the other women. What? All right, I got to stop being such a schmuck. So do you realize at the end of the movie that we got not just our first male lead who's Jewish, at least that I'm aware of, that we also got something else even though it wasn't really explicitly stated?
No, what's that?
So at the end of the movie, we have a big ol', Ethan or Joel does the play with the niece and then afterwards, Brooke, what's her name? Megan?
Yeah, it's Brooke.
Brooke shows up and she's like, yeah, you guys are great. And then turns around and sees her old boss from New York, who's like, I totally don't think you're able to do the job that I gave you. And she's there with a random ass chick who's just, I guess, into local theater. I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say that they were lesbians. Because I don't know any straight couple that goes 2 hours out of town to a small sleepy burb that's really romantic to watch local theater. I don't know
Yeah,
that.
I don't know.
Those people don't exist. Now, it makes sense if you're on, a, say, bed and breakfast kind of tour. Maybe you're getting away for the holidays with a loved one. So, kudos to Hallmark for trying. This was a movie where you tried to include people, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, very true.
It's a solid effort from a company that will not take that extra step. And to be fair, they may no longer need to because Paramount now is doing gay Christmas movies. Not even being offensive. I mean, literally, they're doing gay Christmas movies. Did you see that?
Huh. No, I didn't.
Random former country lad returned from big city life to find that his mother has hired a new stable boy. Cannot make this up. And you'll never guess who the leading star is. And he's been in a Hallmark movie.
I don't know.
Our very own Peter Porte, who is in Love at the Shore.
Wow.
Yeah, now he's doing Hallmark movies for everyone, of every persuasion. The movie is called Dashing in December, which makes me just want to punch a puppy. Oh, what a terrible name.
I don't like that name at all.
But it's supposed to be a double entendre because dashing through the snow, and they're both dashing lads. I love puns. I do. I do love puns, but ugh. Annie McDowell's the mom. I don't know why that's funny, but I like that you laughed at it.
I don't know why it's funny either, but it made me laugh.
That's funny as hell. Kathleen Bayless was in it. She played Erica Marsh in One Tree Hill. Who the fuck was Erica Marsh in One Tree Hill?
I don't know.
Let's see. Erica Marsh, One Tree Hill. She looks so familiar. I guess she was... Oh, I think she was like the really smart kid that no one really liked. Was that someone?
I mean, there's a couple of those in One Tree Hill.
Like, she looks so damn familiar, and I feel like she's like head of the fucking... Let's see. Former One Tree Hill student, class president during her freshman and sophomore year. In her junior year, she lost out... Oh, she was the chick that Brooke Davis beat in the class presidency in season 4.
Yes. Yes.
She dated Mouth for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was season 2.
Yeah.
Okay, that's who that was. So she was in Dashing in December. Anyway.
Huh.
Back on over to Holiday. So let's grade this thing. And I want to start off by saying I made a lot of crash jokes, but I did enjoy this movie. It was just like I said, it was frosting. Yeah. No substance to it, but who doesn't like a little frosting? You don't want to have too much of it, but it was solid.
You know what this is? This is the piece of cake that you get from the corner of the cake that's got the big flour on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like the icing around the edges is super thick too. You're not going to get a lot of cake when you eat this one, when you watch this movie, but the frosting is fucking delicious.
We had a fusion holiday, potentially lesbians. We had a potential interracial couple. So, like, because I think the dude's wife that was running the play was white. I'm just assuming that because every other chick in this town was white. So, like, I'm just assuming. I'm making some assumptions here. So, like, it was a very inclusive movie for Hallmark standards.
Yes, 100%.
So, but yeah, truth be told, I like the centerpieces of cake because I prefer more cake to frosting.
I go either way. I really don't have a preference. I don't usually go for like the corner pieces. That's too much frosting, but I'll go for a side piece. You know,
centerpiece, side piece, corner piece in order. Like, if I get a side piece, I'll be fine. But like, I'd rather not get a corner piece because that's just when it's just everywhere.
So like, we're almost very similar. I'm side piece, centerpiece, corner piece. So
I respect that. I don't respect you, but I respect that.
You've never respected me. And
no.
Honestly, at this point, I feel like it's too late to earn your respect.
To be fair, I barely respect myself.
See, that's the thing is like I can't respect anybody because I don't respect myself. So
there you go. Okay, so we have 5 categories.
Yes, we do. Our 5 categories are acting, writing, design, appeal, and enjoyability. These are all ranked on a scale of 1 to 5. No decimals. You cannot go higher than 5, and you cannot go lower than 1. So,
Attaboy.
when it comes to, huh?
I said attaboy.
Yeah. So that I'm gonna explain it to everybody in every single one of these that we do. We do this. The 5 categories are ranked out of 5. Blah 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 blah. At the end, we will tally up the total, the total scores, and then we will divide them by the 5 categories, and we will gain our percentage out of 100 or our score out of 100, however you want to see it, and that will give us the final grade for the movie.
Yeah.
So, our first category is acting. How well was the acting in this movie, Chadward?
So I don't want people to misconstrue this. We are grading these based off of Hallmark movies, folks.
Yes.
Do not sit and go, you're going to give that a that when Saving Private Ryan exists? We're not comparing. This is within the realm of Hallmarkism. How do they stack up in Hallmark land? And for that reason, I'm giving acting a 5. Why am I giving acting a 5? Bruce Boxleitner plays Walter the father. Bruce Boxleitner also played Papa Awesome in Chuck.
Oh, that's right. He was. I knew he looked familiar. That was Captain Awesome's dad.
Yup. So the best part of this movie was
man.
every time the dork in-law son does something, or even Joel Parker, Bruce Boxleitner goes, and just walks away.
Oh, yeah, it's so good.
5.
So I was right there with you, but then I had to take something into consideration. And the one reason I will give this a 4 out of 5, the acting, is just because I can't get over how absolutely stupid it is for him to go, I'm Jewish. And they all look like he had just said that he was a terrorist. Like, the stunned silence in that room literally was like him looking at all of them and saying, if all of you shook my hand, you got cancer from it. And they were all like, what? He may as well have announced, I am Satan here to rape you, with the looks on their face.
The movie
I give it
was an hour and 28 minutes long. I'm pretty sure it was actually only an hour long, and it was a 28-minute break of them just staring at him after he said he was Jewish. Like, what?
It was a long, silent pause. So therefore, it gets a 4 out of 5 for me.
Fair enough. You are taking
So
recordings of the scores, right?
Yes, I'm taking recordings of this. If you need them separated, I can tell you that my scores are first and your scores are second.
That's how I do it with the game core stuff, so that'll work. So that takes us to what? Writing?
Writing. How well was this movie written?
I'd give it a 4. In terms of a Hallmark movie, I think it was really well done. We had the setup. Girl doesn't want to go home because she's tired of being the loser single chick at Christmas. So she sets up the out of nowhere. Do you want to pretend to be my boyfriend at holidays shtick? Love it. That's one of my favorite shticks in all of shtickdom. We had the adorable kid who needed help with the thing and the acting, and so made him seem really approachable and likable by the family. You had several twists. But granted, it's 128 minutes, or an hour and 20 minutes, so the twist isn't going to come until the last 10 minutes. But it was still good. I would say you're missing a little something, but I can't place my finger on it. Maybe a little bit more development between the sisters. So I'm going to give it a 4.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. 4 out of 5. So the biggest thing that I look for when it comes to writing in these movies is how likable are all of the main characters. So in this case, I'm talking about the family and the 2 main leads being Brooke and Joel. There isn't a single unlikable character in this family. They're like the sister and the brother-in-law could have not been in the movie, and the movie still would have been just as good. But that's not like a detraction because they don't outright make the movie worse. And so for that, the writing is really on par. I think the story setup was really good. As corny as it was, it's like, oh my God, he's an actor pretending to be her boyfriend. What are they gonna do? Kind of thing. A little ridiculous, but at the same time, it's not a Hallmark movie if it's not ridiculous. So overall, I think that it was really well done, really well written, and you really want to see the characters, really have fun with it. So, and they do. So 4 out of 5 for me as well.
All right, and that takes us to what? Design?
The design, the set dressing, the atmosphere, the overall background of the movie. So this movie takes place in 2 different locations, being somewhere in central New York, I'm assuming, and then also in fuck it all town, bum hillbilly Pennsylvania.
It's Christmas McChristiansen. Come on.
Oh yeah, Christmas McChristiansonville.
There it is. No,
Yeah,
no, Ville is in New Jersey. We don't go to Christmas Miss Christiansenville. Like no one wants to fucking go to New Jersey.
What is it from Mr. Deeds? Winchestertonville, Iowa.
And then there's a fucking city. Like that was the best fucking gag in the world. Holy shit, it exists.
It's so good that he takes her to Winchestertonfieldville, Iowa.
Oh my god.
She broke her arm when she fell out of Boo Radley's apple tree.
He's just flapping his arm.
And the what did she say? My dad scooped me up and she ran me to Dr. Pepper's. Mr. Deeds is a good movie.
I fell in the tree and my arm is killing me.
Don't you recognize her? I'll give you a hint. I fell out of Boo Radley's apple tree, and boy, is my arm killing me. Who the hell's Boo Radley?
He went to the most illiterate place in the world, and that's how he got by. That's how the whole thing didn't fall apart.
Okay. So yes. Whatever the name of this town is, very small town, Pennsylvania, and central New York. How do you feel about the
Western Pennsylvania, Eastern Pennsylvania?
More specifically, the house, the home, the family home.
I love the house, and I think I've seen it in 16 other Hallmark movies.
I was just about to say that. I was about to say the same exact thing. I think I've seen it a million times. There's the small town setting, and like Hank's. What is it? It's like Hank's a hardware store.
Yeah, that's on.
Yeah, Hank's Hardware. So how are you feeling about the place setting?
I love it. I love it. I love that this town doesn't actually exist. I love that this town never has existed. I love that we keep idealizing a town where no giant corporations exist at all. Because I'd like to live in that town.
It's my favorite Hallmark trope of small town, no big corporations until a big corporation wants to move in.
How is this mom of one Puggle gonna reject this giant bakery?
It's absolutely ridiculous. But yes, this is a very small town, Eastern Pennsylvania, no big corporations. It's the perfect place to live, ideally. Except it's in Pennsylvania.
It's idyllic.
It is idyllic.
Idyllic or idyllic? I thought it was idyllic. You
One of us is wrong. It's probably me.
It's
probably me. I'm from the South, so it's probably me.
You Columbus. I'm trying to say Elizabethan, but put Columbus Eastons. Hey, I got it. Hey, look at that. I figured it out. Columbus Eastons.
We're called Colombians.
I don't think so. If you're Colombians, we're Brazilians, and I'm pretty sure that ain't right. I would give this a 4.
Yeah.
And here's why. The dumb Hallmark trope of small town America, big cheeked white people. Like, it's great. It's fine. Whatever. But there's always like a thing, right? I was watching one the other day, and it was like a bookstore. Like, this woman loved the bookstore. It was all about the bookstore. And it was in like 2/3 of the movie. It's the bakeries when we were doing the autumn, fall, Halloween shit, right? Bakeries.
Yeah.
There's one out of hardware shirts that they forced in, and they're like, yeah, that's the locale. And there's even a sequence where like she leaves him in the hardware store for no reason.
True.
Twice.
Yeah. No, that's 100% true. Yeah. And the thing is like, they really didn't need this hardware store to be like a central location because they have a cafe in this town that they go to often.
Right, but the cafe gets no love. It's Hank's Hardware.
I know, that's the problem. That's why I'm agreeing with you that they shouldn't get a 5, because if they had just been like, here's our central hub within the town, Carol's Cafe or whatever instead of Hank's Hardware.
Christmas Tree Alleyway.
Yeah.
That's where I would have had it. Just do all the scenes inside of Pine Needles.
Yeah, back alley Christmas tree dealer.
Hey, you looking for a Christmas tree? It fell off Santa's sleigh, if you know what I mean.
I got the biggest and the best. The biggest and the greenest.
He opens up his jacket and then he pushes a button because you can't fit a tree in the jacket. Hey, you looking for a Christmas tree? Opens up his coat. There's no Christmas tree in there. It's like, no, of course not. It's a coat. My keys to the lock shop is in my coat. Fucking weirdos. New York people, man. What, man, I'm telling you. Opens the door. So, like, yeah, I'd give it a 4. So we're both in agreement that it gets a 4?
Yeah. We're in agreement that it both gets a 4. As far as, like, mainstream appeal goes, how do you think this movie would fare to people that don't watch Hallmark movies?
2. To be fair. I make a lot of jokes. I do. I'm going to try to be honest. You know, I picked this one because I needed movies. Like we looked it up and like, oh, which Hallmark Christmas movie do we want to watch? The one with the 2 white people in it or the ones with the 2 white people in it? I don't know which one. So I tried to go with, like, I like Lacey Chabert. All right. And then Brandon Routh. Okay. And then I was like, all right, random ass white movie. Here it is. There. All right. And it happened to be decent. That's how I found it. But I wouldn't say that there was any real panache or, you know, drawing me in.
100%. If you were like, I'm going to watch a Hallmark movie for Christmas, let me see what's on. Instead of, if you just look up a synopsis of a movie that's on, like, this one is not going to be the one. If you see the image for this of these 2 white people, you're not going to get the thing that makes this movie great is it's intricate, like, not intricate, but it's it actually has, like, good storytelling. Like, it actually tries to make the story matter and the acting matter.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get that by looking at it because you're going to see, blonde, white girl, dark-haired, white guy. They probably
it's the same lead for every. Yeah, it's the same lead for every movie. A handsome, fucking cheek-jawed white dude with dark hair and pretty blonde chick. Jeez, it could be literally any Hallmark movie with that description. So I would give it a 2.
I'm right there with you.
The only reason it's not a 1 is because I did recognize Matt Cohen. He played a young John Winchester on Supernatural a few times. But
yeah, didn't recognize him at all. But
I will say this: I don't ever pick movies or Hallmark movies based off the dude, with the rare exception of Brandon Routh. I do it because I think to myself, would I want to date this chick? And usually the answer is, duh. So,
of course,
that's how I pick these movies.
And then our final category is enjoyability. How enjoyable is this movie? Disregarding everything else around us, just focusing on the hour and 28 minutes you spent watching the movie. How much did you enjoy it out of 5?
They spent 14 hours staring at the Hebrew dude like, why are you in this house?
They did.
It's a 5.
They did. Yep. I thought we were gonna have another different answer. I thought, like, oh, maybe acting won't be the only one where we have a different answer. But I was like, nah. Like, I definitely have to give this a 5 because it was like that moment. To me, a Hallmark movie is enjoying the ride to the finish, to the finality, the final moment. And the final moment of these movies is usually always they share an impassioned kiss or they, the happily ever after moment. And sometimes to get to that moment in a Hallmark movie, it is a slog. It is an absolute torturous, horrible, slow burn where nothing interesting happens. However, this one was not that. They filled this movie with shenanigans and jokes and goofs and laughs, and they did a good job of integrating Hanukkah and making it feel welcomed into this Christmas movie. So overall, I also have to agree with Chad and give this a 5. This movie did not feel like a chore to watch.
No.
So
also,
that is that.
I want to point out Shannon Kent played the wife of the agent guy. I never had a problem seeing her on screen, so 5. Well, she's a 10, but still. So yeah, I had to plug her. Well, wait, that sounded wrong. I had to put her over. There you go. First one was a
Let me get
sure as
the.
fuck accident, but it worked. Okay, so what are we looking at number wise?
Give me 1 second. This overall, its overall score after tallying up both of our average totals and getting our final number is a 78.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
We'll come up
I
with the official scale, but like 90s are like, you need to see this. Absolutely. Anything from the 80s is like superb filmmaking, and like a 70s is highly recommendable. I don't know
yeah,
the
I would
proper
say
scale, but I would say that that's fair.
yeah, I would say like 90s and above, 90 to 100 is definitely like if you haven't seen this movie, you need to see this movie, especially if you're a Hallmark fan.
I would say
80s to 90s?
90s would
Yeah.
would also kind of equate
Yeah.
to could be a theater movie.
Yes. Yes. Agreed. 80s to 80 to 90 is like that. Hey, even if you're not a fan, but you enjoy like if you enjoy Hallmark movies, 80s is definitely like the one is like if you enjoy Hallmark movies, you're gonna love this. Is next to the
Mm-hmm.
ones that could be theater movies. If you're not a Hallmark movie fan, this is a movie that could definitely get you into it.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yes, and the 70s is like, hey, you're not gonna want to watch. You think you might not like this movie, but it might surprise you.
And also highly
Yeah.
recommendable for already Hallmark fans.
Yes. And then we'll figure out 60s and 50s below that. So we'll get an official. I mean, hell, last episode we figured out the official scale of how to grade these. This time we're gonna get everything all figured out. And by the time we come back for Hallmarks in the new year, we will definitely have everything all figured out. And if Chad doesn't do it, he can always pawn it off on me, and I'll do it.
Yay, pawning.
So yeah, it gets a 78. Do you remember what Family for Christmas got? So I can put that down.
No.
I think it was a 52.
I know it was in the 50s. I didn't think it was that low. I thought it might have been 56.
Actually, here, let me just add everything up again, and then
Yeah, do that.
I'll do it.
There you go.
Give me 1 second here while I do math because I'm bad at it. It did get a 52.
Okay.
Just making sure, but I'm putting it down right now. So that way, when I send this to you, you'll have everything that you need. Okay. So yes, that was Holiday Date. If you missed yesterday's, you should go back and watch it. It'll be up on the YouTube side of things. I know Chad said that our Hallmark stuff do go up on the YouTube side of things. If not, it'll be up on the website, or you can find it in probably on our VOD section of the Twitch page. You know, either way, you guys will be able to find it. Wherever you get your podcast, because this is just we're trying to get the Hallmarks out there, and we're trying to make it grow. So yeah, if you haven't listened to Family for Christmas one, I highly recommend going back and watching it. Thank you for tuning in to this one. I hope you all will be joining us tomorrow, December 23rd, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, as we talk about 9 Lives for Christmas, starring Brandon Routh. That'll wrap up our Hallmarks podcast 3-night Christmas extravaganza bonanza.
Hallmark 3-night Christmas. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So that'll be the finale for that, and then I don't know when Hallmarks will be returning to you. I'm also unsure of when Ohio Guys random podcasts will be returning to you guys, or series podcasts, whatever we want to call it. But Chad and I are going to figure that all out, the behind the scenes, so you guys don't have to sit here and listen to us scramble with it.
Well, we will be coming back for something on New Year's Eve. Whether we do it
Yeah,
live
more than
or
likely.
pre-recorded is going to be discussed later, though. And what we're going to be doing it
Yeah.
on is up in the air.
Yeah. So, So thank you guys for tuning in. Chad is going to go ahead and give you the rundown of all of our information.
RealNerdCorp.com. That's RealNerdCorp.com. You can find us on twitch.tv/RealNerdCorp. On YouTube.com by searching Real Nerd Corp. We're also on Twitter at NERDCORP. And on Instagram at Real Nerd Corp. Swisher, what's your personals?
You can find my personal stuff. My Twitter is at X2000Gregs. That's X2000GREGS. You can find me on I don't do Tumblr anymore. I deleted that shit. Instagram. That's the one I was forgetting. You can find my Instagram, 2000Gregs, 2000. That's 3 zeros, followed by GREGS, all one word. Chad, where can they find your personal stuff?
Chad Nerdcorp on Twitter, ChadNerdCorp, and on the Instagram at Chad's Photo Hut.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us for another HallMarks podcast. We will be back tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, with 9 Lives for Christmas as we wrap up the 3-night Christmas extravaganza bonanza. So for Chad Gordo, I'm Alex Swisher. We will see you all tomorrow night. Goodbye, good night, and keep marking